The Enchanted Typewriter by John Kendrick Bangs. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Cate Barratt. The Enchanted Typewriter by John Kendrick Bangs. Chapter 1. The Discovery. It is a strange fact, for which I do not expect ever satisfactorily to account, and which will receive little credence even among those who know that I am not given to romancing. It is a strange fact, I say, that the substance of the following pages has evolved itself during a period of 6 months, more or less, between the hours of midnight and 4 o'clock in the morning, proceeding directly from a typewriting machine standing in the corner of my library, manipulated by unseen hands. The machine is not of recent make. It is in fact a relic of the early 'seventies, which I discovered one morning when, suffering from a slight attack of the grip, I had remained at home and devoted my time to pottering about in the attic, unearthing old books, bringing to the light long forgotten correspondences, my boyhood collections of "stuff," and other memory-inducing things. Whence the machine came originally I do not recall. My impression is that it belonged to a stenographer once in the employ of my father, who used frequently to come to our house to take down dictations. However this may be, the machine had lain hidden by dust in the flotsam and jetsam of the house for 20 years, when, as I have said, I came upon it unexpectedly. Old man as I am (I shall soon be 30), the fascination of a machine has lost none of its potency. I am as pleased to day watching the wheels of my watch go round as ever I was, and to monkey with a typewriting apparatus has always brought great joy into my heart, though for composing give me the pen. Perhaps I should apologize for the use here of the verb monkey, which savours of what a friend of mine calls the English slanguage, to differentiate it from what he also calls the Andrew language. But I shall not do so, because to whatever branch of our tongue the word may belong, it is exactly descriptive, and descriptive as no other word can be of what a boy does with things that click and go, and is therefore not at all out of place in a tale which I trust will be regarded as a polite one. The discovery of the machine put an end to my attic potterings. I cared little for finding old bill files and collections of Atlantic cable ends when, with a whole morning, a typewriting machine, and a screwdriver before me, I could penetrate the mysteries of that useful mechanism. I shall not endeavour to describe the delightful sensations of that hour of screwing and unscrewing. They surpass the powers of my pen. Suffice it to say that I took the whole apparatus apart, cleaned it well, oiled every joint, and then put it together again. I do not suppose a 7-year-old boy could have derived more satisfaction from taking a piano to pieces. It was exhilarating, and I resolved that as a reward for the pleasure it had given me, the machine should have a brand new ribbon and as much ink as it could consume. And that, in brief, is how it came to be that this machine of antiquated pattern was added to the library bric-a-brac. To say the truth, it was of no more practical use than Barry's dancing bear, a plaster cast of which adorns my mantel-shelf, so that when I classify it with the bric-a-brac, I do so advisedly. I frequently tried to write a jest or two upon it, but the results were extraordinarily like Sir Arthur Sullivan's experience with the organ, into whose depths the lost chord sank, never to return. I dashed off the jests well enough, but somewhere between the keys and the types they were lost, and the results, when I came to scan the paper, were depressing. And once I tried a sonnet on the keys. Exactly how to classify the jumble that came out of it I do not know, but it was curious enough to have appealed strongly to Disraeli or any other collector of the literary oddity. More singular than the sonnet, though, was the fact that when I tried to write my name upon this strange machine, instead of finding it in all its glorious length written upon the paper, I did find William Shakespeare printed there in its stead. Of course you will say that in putting the machine together I mixed up the keys in the letters. I have no doubt that I did, but when I tell you that there have been times when, looking at myself in the glass, I have fancied that I saw in my mirrored face the lineaments of the great bard, that the contour of my head is precisely the same as was his, that when visiting Stratford for the first time every foot of it was pregnant with clearly defined recollections to me, you will perhaps more easily picture to yourself my sensations at the moment. However, enough of describing the machine in its relation to myself. I have said sufficient, I think, to convince you that whatever its make, its age, and its limitations, it was an extraordinary affair, and once convinced of that, you may the more readily believe me when I tell you that it has gone into business, apparently for itself, and incidentally
Sample complete. Ready to continue?